Hey there, and welcome to my channel, Living in Calgary, Alberta. My name's Dean Martin, and I'm a real estate agent here in Calgary. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, what's going on with the Calgary real estate market as we head into 2023? 2022 was a banner year, and as we head into 2023, as many of you know, there's a lot of things that are going on in the world that's really affecting economies everywhere. And so in Calgary, we kind of have a unique situation where we have a lot of people moving into Calgary, and this is actually putting a lot of pressure on our real estate market and our housing market as a whole. So I'm going to be taking a look at some of the charts and graphs, and this is going to help us understand where the prices are right now and which way they're headed. So again, if you're making a move to Calgary, you definitely want to watch this. This is going to help you make an informed decision. And maybe you're trying to decide if you're going to rent or if you're going to buy. And again, I'm going to discuss that as well. So once again, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and of course ring that bell. That way you get updated on the very next video. All right, so let's get started right after this. All right, so let's get started with where we are currently in the market. As of January 1st, 2023, these are the stats for Calgary real estate. So the detached benchmark price was $619,600. And again, this is in all areas of Calgary. And as you can see, it's still up almost 10% from last year. Semi-detached homes, again, these are half duplexes. These are at $563,000, and row housing, which is townhouses, is at $358,300, and then apartments at $274,800. So if you combine all of these together, the average is $518,800, which is slightly down from our highest, which was in May of 2022. So, but year over year is still up over 7%, almost 8%. So, if you look over here on the right, this is Calgary's divided into 8 zones, and so when you hear people talking about Northwest Calgary, that kind of thing, or Northeast or Southeast, this is what they're talking about. And so, so you can kind of peruse this here, but as you can see, all areas are still up, fairly significant from last year. So that's where we are currently. So a lot of people are asking, well, where is the Calgary real estate market going to go in 2023 with the looming recession and with interest rates being hiked up so high? A lot of people are kind of wondering, well, is this going to change Calgary's pricing? And what I'm seeing right now is our prices are actually holding, and again, that has a lot to do with the supply and demand. And there's actually a thing called the law of supply and demand. And this really helps us determine where this is going to go for Calgary as far as house values and house prices. So if we take a quick look at the law of supply and demand, is if there's low supply of housing inventory, so low supply, and there's a high demand for it, what's going to happen is the value of whatever it is, so if it's a house or it's if it's a car or whatever, you're going to see that that's going to rise in price. And so we're seeing that in Calgary. The demand, there's so many people moving into Calgary still, and just our net migration is still very high. So more people are moving in than moving out. So as long as that maintains and we have a lower supply of inventory, and why we have that is, people aren't leaving Calgary. I mean, obviously some people will be, but our overall net amount of people are actually increasing rather than decreasing. So there's a lot of pressure on not only on homes for sale, but also for homes for rent. And so, people need to live somewhere. So as long as that pressure's on, even with the higher interest rates, we're seeing that people are buying up these homes. So predictions are for 2023 that with the continued good economic situation here in Calgary, we're going to see more and more people move into Calgary. Okay, so this graph helps us understand more about the direction and how the market is reacting to the amount of people buying. and how many people are listing their homes. So the blue graph here, the bar, is inventory, and then we have the green is sales, and then the red trend line is the benchmark price. And this again includes all types of properties, and we'll just look at that for right now. And if you want more specific information on, let's say, detached or apartments or any of the individual, definitely reach out to me and I'd be able to send that to you. But let's take a look at this. As you can see that this is starting to flatten out. The inventory right now is extremely low, and now typically in December and January it is low. This is a normal thing for Calgary, but this is even more low than normal. And what we're also seeing is very high sales. So last year was a record year. So, but over a 10-year period, we're still very high. So as we go into 2023, we have low inventory, but we still have high demand. So we take a look at the months of inventory here. This will tell us how many months of homes it would take before it would deplete the current inventory. And as you can see, it's going down very quickly. So when you see it this low, that's a good sign that there's a lot of activity. And especially in Calgary, when you've seen it in the past history where it takes a lot longer to get rid of the inventory that's currently on hand. So let's take a closer look at the months of inventory, because that does give us a better indication of kind of how the cycles work in Calgary. So if you look at the past, this is going back to 2013. As you can see that the beginning of the year, so January, up until the middle of the year, June, it kind of peaks out and then it goes back down in the fall. So each year you can sort of see this cycle. And so, we do expect inventory to increase as we go into 2023. And so, again, that's to help people that are looking right now, maybe give you some confidence that there's going to be some more listings come on, because it is right now very hard to get a good home. So if you are in the market for buying a house in Calgary, you definitely want to make sure that you're pre-qualified for your mortgage. That way you are ready, because when you start looking at homes, all of a sudden a really good home is going to show up, and you definitely want to be ready to pull the trigger on that on an offer. If you're not pre-qualified, that makes it a lot harder and a lot more stress on you. So always recommend to get pre-qualified. And of course, on our team, we have an excellent mortgage broker I can put you in touch with to help you with that. All you need to do is send me a message. You can email me, text me, or even leave a message down below in the comments, and I'd love to be able to hook you up with an excellent mortgage broker that I've used for years that I totally trust here in Calgary. Okay, so this graph gives us a better indication of the amount of sales that are going on. If we look at our history here, this goes back to 2008, and as you can see, we're definitely at a much higher level of sales typically. So again, there's just a lot of people moving to Calgary and making that purchase. And if you look at the rental graphs, it's very similar. So rent has definitely gone up as well, and which of course is putting that additional pressure on the Calgary real estate market. And here's the inventory graph. Again, going back to 2008, where we had substantially more listings. And almost 6,000, and then we're way down just above 2,000 right now. So as you can see that our inventory is very low. And if you look at these graphs, this represents all the different communities that I mentioned, the 8 zones in Calgary. You can get a better idea of how much inventory is in each of these sections. If you're thinking about making a move to Calgary in 2023, I'd love to hear from you. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. If you want to learn more about living in Calgary, up in the right-hand corner here, you'll see a link to one of my playlists about living in Calgary. You go ahead there and there's more videos that I've done. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.